Hello, and thank you very much for joining me, Kylie Rhea, your host on Living the Life of Kylie, the Eclectic Mix podcast. This is episode number 2, but I'm also going to segue an episode number 3 into this as well. So please do stay with me. You'll realise the sort of connection afterwards. But first and foremost, I wanted to give an update about my ADHD medication journey so far. I've had a few comments about my clicky pens, so I've got that back with me again today. So today is, oh goodness, I can't even remember what day it is. What day is it today? I don't mean the actual day, I mean the day journey-wise into the medication. Don't know, can't remember. But I've started taking it, so as I mentioned previously, it's Alvance adult 30 milligrams, one a day. I have a review on the 20th of December, which is actually my brother's birthday, at 7:45, I think it is. So my memory is improving, but I'm still finding myself slightly no better off. I feel really, I mean, I'm thinking rationally, but my mouth isn't moving as quickly as I want it to. Which, as many of you know, is a bit of a struggle for me. I'm used to being a bit chatty, and I don't know if that's something that I've benefited from. You know, I'm less sort of like, I feel like I'm definitely less hyper. I feel less hyper anyway, but that's almost made me feel a bit strange, because whereas normally I'd be like, right, I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll do this. And my legs move at the same time as my mind, as my mouth, as my eyes, as my limbs. I'm sort of a bit like, right, I'll do that now. And I'll move my legs to that position. So it feels like I'm almost moving in slow motion. But I know that everything is going to take a little while to level out. And that's fine. I've got all the time in the world, fingers crossed. But it's one of those things that my brain is probably being forced to slow down, but my body's still wanting to go to that same pace, because I'm still experiencing high levels of anxiety. Last night I was watching TV and I actually felt like my heart was hurting, not hurting enough for me to be like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. But it was very much a bit of a, I can feel that, that's strange. And I've obviously, heart palpitations are one of the side effects, and anxiety is one of the side effects, which again, as I said previously, it sort of contradicts the whole thing, but I'm sure that somewhere back here it's working, it's doing its thing. So I'm all right with that. Day by day I'm doing it. Day by day I'm getting through it. But I think originally, because I watched that program on Netflix, is it called Take Your Pill? I mentioned it on the last podcast. And because they were saying that they take it and they were like, ping, that's what I was expecting. And I just did not get that ping. So then I was really like, I don't think it's working. Oh, well, you know, I'm going to have to call them and get a high dose. But that's obviously not the way to do it. They've obviously taken something which is very much not prescribed. And that's, you know, that's not this situation. So I will certainly keep you updated on that. It's just very much limbo without the pillar and the party. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of like limboing under, but I'm just not getting through to the other side yet. The thing is that I know that it is something that I need to do, and I know that it's going to take time and a lot of reviewing, and maybe different medication will be needed. But, you know, it is going to be trial and error. I was just wanting that click moment. And, you know, patience isn't something that I'm very good with at the best of times. I want the results yesterday, even though the due date is today, you know. So I just need to keep my head on as best as I can. So I'm being distracted by the kittens over there. This week has been quite a week for the kittens. We've had 2 ostrich-sized blackbirds brought in. Thank you very much. And 2 rats. I thought they were baby mice, so I was like, like trying to help them and save them and coax them in and save them. But then my friend Jan said that where there's one mouse, where there's one rat, there's probably about 10. So I've basically saved 2 out of 20 rats this week. So yeah, it's been a bit of a week for them. While I've been on the medication, I know that it's obviously a very cliche thing to say, but there's been a few people that have said, honestly, your life will just change. It's just going to absolutely change. And went to a wedding on Saturday, which is absolutely phenomenal. A really lovely evening. I took Arnie with me. And, you know, I caught the bouquet. I mean, is that not life-changing enough? I mean, if this medication is going to help me, hell, I will take it. I'll take 2. I'll take about 9 different prescriptions if that is going to get me through to the aisle. So yeah, that was an interesting week. I think maybe it's like maybe 10 days or so. I can't remember. But the deja vu, where the brain is starting to connect or starting to slow down, I'm finding that I'll be talking with like mum and dad, and then suddenly go, vroom. You know, think, hold on, in a minute, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And I'm sure I read once somewhere, again, my memory obviously isn't working that well. I'm sure I read, see, I've got it on the brain. I will catch the bouquet. I will get married in a week. Where I have been sort of researching deja vu and things like that in the past, because I think everyone Googles what happens when, or what does it mean when. They say it's like where your brain has like a bit of a like pause moment, where it's like functioning something else or digesting something or processing something. So that's interesting. That is interesting to actually have that physical side effect mentally as well. I'm still very anxious when I'm trying to go to sleep. My legs will be constantly kicking like this. Regardless, I won't be worrying about anything, but my legs are, sorry, if you're listening on Spotify, imagine a duck like this underneath, like going, you know, what's a pedal to the metal? Hell for leather? One of those phrases, whatever one you can sort of visualize, that is how my legs are going. And my mind will be alert. Oh, hello. My mind will be alert, but I won't be actually... Oh, yeah, thank you. That's my cousin Joanne commenting on my memory. Thank you. Oh, that cat's going crazy over there. So I'm not feeling rested in the sense of when I go to sleep, or if I get into bed, my legs will just go crazy. But I haven't been having any nightmares anymore. So that in itself is probably a real benefit, because the night terrors that I would have would just be horrendous. So yes, that is a benefit. There's been a lot of interest on my part, probably throughout the past however long, about, you know, stigma and things like this, like mental health and whatever. But I think I don't want to talk too much about mental health, because although that is very important and it's very much key for conversation at the moment, you know, building awareness and things like this, I don't want to harp on too much about my journey with ADHD. However, it is always going to be a part of topics and subjects because it impacts me so much. But that being said, when I was originally thinking about this, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why I haven't jumped on this, you know, when I decided to launch it in February, and I've just picked up something just then. My mum always used to say to me, oh, whenever you listen to Geri Halliwell, all she ever says is, you know. So she picks up on that. She's told me, and now I'm recognising that's all I'm blooming saying. Oh, you know. So that's annoying me. But I was talking to my friend the other day, and I actually said, I'm not so worried about the trolls and about the comments and about people and receiving hate online and things like that. Maybe perhaps because I'm stood this end looking into the abyss of social media and into the abyss of coming with your story in such a public way. But for the most part, at the moment, as I stand, and this may well change as time goes on, you know, if I do receive any hate or trolls, you know, trip-trapping over my bridge or whatever. But the thing is, though, is I'm very much of the opinion that whatever you want to say about me, I'm probably the first person in the world to say it about myself anyway. So And I probably agree with you. That's the funniest thing. Like if you've got an opinion of me and you think, oh yeah, but she's so like this, or oh my god, like yeah, I am. I know. And that really isn't me calling their bluff or trying to be, you know, devil's advocate within a situation. It's just I probably would agree with you as well. I'm the first person to stand up and say, yes, I am a bit annoying. Yes, I am a bit hyperactive. Yes, I do think I'm the funniest person on the planet. Yes, but I am. And, you know, I think sometimes you've got to back yourself, because if you're not going to back yourself, how the hell are you going to get somebody else to back you? Can I get an amen up in here? I mean, yes, paraphrasing the old RuPaul's Drag Race there. Let's hope I don't get sued. I do think you have got to back yourself, but I also think you've got to be a little bit not asked about it. And I think it is very difficult for people to have that, not nonchalant, and I don't mean arrogance, but, you know, that sort of self-esteem in themselves to actually think, well, I don't really care what you think. Like, I don't care. I don't care if people like me. I don't care if people don't like me. But I do think that there's a lot to be said for someone who does give a lot of hate to other people online, you know, even in the supermarket, name calling, stuff like that. So we actually have a bit of rule in my house here with Arnie where we don't actually do any name calling. I mean, I might call him a silly Billy in a jokey, jovial sense, you know, if we're playing, but I'd never call him names if he was upset or misbehaving or things like that. Again, that may well change, but I just think it starts in a really personal level. And if you are sort of sitting there and thinking, oh my God, like, what on earth is she wearing? If you're thinking that, that's one thing. Everyone's entitled to their own thoughts and their own feelings and their own opinions on things, and that's fine. But to then take the energy to log into a forum and, you know, do that and speak so openly as to your hate and disgust for this person who you don't even know, is quite something else. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been there before. I thought I was the funniest person on the planet. Started sort of like talking and making a joke within a group of friends of mine. Got in a lot of trouble for it. That was about 12 years ago now, 13 years ago, when social media wasn't even, there wasn't the reality sort of element of social media where someone would go on to Love Island and then they get rinsed, you know, by the time the episode is just airing. It was very much we thought we were funny. No one was actually intended to see it, but it did actually get released, and obviously we got in a bit of trouble for it. But that sort of instance, I feel like it has shaped me quite a lot, because I also don't think that whereas it was just like purely just friends having a laugh, that still really impacts people, and it has actually impacted my life as well, as to how not to think about people, or how not to use that to, you know, make other people laugh. I mean, I thought I was quite funny. The content was good, but no, that's not, you know what I mean? You've really got to pull it back. And it's one of those moments that has shaped me. And as awful as it is, I am glad that did happen, because now I'm watching things and comments on Daily Mail online and whatever else, you think, oh no, I wouldn't actively go onto a website or put a really, you know, what's the word, controversial status up, and, you know, I vote for this way, or I vote for this way, or I believe in this, or I believe in that. But when I see people that do, it's not really for me to try and bring them down. It's not really for me to try and comment and convince them otherwise. If that's how they think about X, Y, and Z, well, you know, go ahead and let them, you know, let them dig their own grave. It's not for us to comment. There's been a lot of things about the whole Meghan Markle thing at the moment, about people liking, well, I'm a royalist, so I think it's disgusting, but then other people are, well, just leave her alone, like, let them get on with it. I can't really be bothered either way. If that's the story, if that's what they've chosen to do, why do I care? Why do I care what is it offending me that much that I have to then go on and make a status? No, just leave them to it, let them get on with it. They're having a wonderful time, thank you very much, and just leave them. Sorry, I'm getting messages left, right and centre. I'm that popular. So I think there is a lot to be said for staying in your own lane. There's you know, people go in group chats and they slag each other friends off, or have you seen this was posted or whatever like that, or oh my god, but did you hear about this and this happened and whatever. And I'm sure that I'm featured in a few of those, because why wouldn't I be? I mean, can we just pay attention to my shambles of a life, because that is worth acknowledging. But at the same time, if you're giving out hate, you're letting it breed. It's not really something that I think that we should be digesting on. So that was something I really wanted to acknowledge, in the way that if you are struggling, you know, perhaps with your mental health and your ADHD and things like this, if that is something that you are struggling with, that's part of you. So you shouldn't ever feel like you should be ashamed or less than anyone else, or perhaps more than anyone else, because you're suddenly taking advantage of, you know, the opportunity to perhaps go privately, or perhaps get other support from other networks and charities and things like that. It's not really for anyone else to comment. If you feel big enough, bold enough and ugly enough to come onto an online platform and talk about it, hello there, then just go for it. Go for it, because you don't know who you are going to be helping. You don't know who you're going to be benefiting as well at the same time. So do it. That's what I've got to say. Thank you very much for listening to this very eclectic podcast. I have been your host, Kylie Rhea, chewing your ear off again for another episode, and I will be back very shortly with my next instalment. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.